Check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3, and we can start the webinar. Welcome, 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 everybody. Make sure your chat is set to everyone as you're joining. Where in the world are you coming in from right now? I am in Texas Hill Country. I'm out here in a place called Fredericksburg, Texas. Really cute little town, out in a little nature retreat. Really excited to spend some time with everybody today. Got Jeremiah coming in from LA. We got, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, Anne Marie, but Leicestershire. Can you give me like a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that one? Got Dubai, Grand Cayman, England, Italy, Essex. The only reason I know Essex is the show Vikings, by the way. Got Johannesburg, South Africa, Lafayette, California, Costa Rica, Norway, London. Got another Texas represent. Ariel coming in from Wisconsin. Got Saudi. Got Chicago, Mexico, Chile is on, Frankfurt, Utah, Oregon, Birmingham, Netherlands, Egypt. You say I'm low volume. I can change that real quick and see how this is going. And how's that volume? Is that sounding better for you? Hopefully that does. Can even bump this. How about that? Is that even louder? Better, better, better. Awesome. Cyprus, Yorkshire, Ecuador. Amazing, amazing. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So, in today's webinar experience, we're going to be talking about the 5-day live RTT trainings and kind of why we built it, what it's like to be there, what are all the things that you learn. And we're actually joined by the wonderful Ariel that most of you have interacted with over time. She is the person that is always responding to all of your comments. She's got this wonderful flowery background that maybe we can pull that story out of her later in the webinar today. But Ariel's just an amazing member of the team and really does so much for all of you. You probably interacted with her a lot over the past couple years, however long you've been following. Go ahead and put in the chat, how long have you been following RTT, following Marisa Peer? Where did you join in from? Where did you start this journey with us? And just as an overarching approach, the North Star today is to make sure I answer all of your questions about what it's like to do a 5-day in-person rapid transformational therapy training with us. It's really an incredible experience. I got to attend my first one back in early September, and I've got some really great things to share with you all today about it. I've got a little video prepped that one of our incredible video team built. Here we go. I'm getting lots of responses. Mind Valley 4 years ago. For those people who have tuned in from Mind Valley, do you recognize me? Do you already know who I am from past Mind Valley experiences? I've got Mo for 2 years, Sylvia, but with a Z, which is the coolest spelling of Sylvia I've ever seen. A few weeks, Cassandra 3 to 4 months. Mary had her first session as a client 4 years ago, Evanda for 5 months. Violetta for a year, Daxa, a few years of YouTube videos. That's awesome. Brenda, 3 years ago via Mind Valley. Peggy, also Mind Valley. 2 years, 4 months. Ooh, the stop drinking hypnosis in 2016. Did it work, Camille? And how well did it work? PEI, 2 months, 2 years, a few years. Wonderful. Wonderful. Full year. Mind Valley for 5 years. Incredible. Marissa's TED Talk. Incredible. Transpersonal psychology. RTT is a great partner for that. Wonderful. And then Karen, you said you just signed up to start the course. Which course did you sign up for? Camille. Wow, incredible.
And Camille said, yes, it worked for her for the stop drinking, which is great.
Wow, incredible. And Jeremiah said they're signing up for RTT. That's incredible. Really excited. Maybe you'll get to meet you in the future. Maybe Ariel as well. Anne Marie said, got the hypnotherapy certificate course to start. Wonderful. Incredible. There will be a replay of this that's going to get sent out, I believe immediately, but don't quote me on that because I know we're kind of looking at the way that we do replays right now to make sure that you get the best experience possible. So with all that being said, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to start us with a little video here that we whipped up, especially for the people attending this right now to just give you an overview of what it's like to attend a 5-day live RTT training. Now, to give you that super high level perspective, getting you into the video, when you show up to a 5-day live training, it's a bolt on to the virtual training of Rapid Transformational Therapy, which is on average somewhere between a 4 and an 8 month journey for people, depending on how much time they put into the training. If they're doing like 3 to 5 hours a week, it's probably going to take that 6 to 8 months for people. But I've known people who have graduated in 4 months with the Rapid Transformational Therapy training. Now, the 5-day live is all about applying and implementing what you learn in the virtual training. So, really getting that hands on practice in person with a bunch of trainers in the room that have been doing RTT for a long time that really help you implement the practice, help you work through all the different 16 tools that are involved in RTT training. Things like happy memories, things like regressions, things like upgrading the child, the healing vortex, cell command therapy, really mastering the client intake process. And so you get to practice all of that in person for 5 days. You make great friends. There's somewhere between 50 and 100 people, depending on the location and where in the world that you're training at. And you get to meet some of the most legendary trainers, including Tina Gray, who is a wonderful person that maybe we'll see today, but maybe not. So let me show you the quick video. Now, this video was made as sort of a summary of what it feels like to be at a 5-day live training. And you can hear directly from people that attended Rushton just in September this year, just a couple months ago. And I got to meet a lot of these people. It was really incredible. So let me go and do a screen share here. And let me show you guys this incredible experience that people got to have. I can definitely speak slower. I get that feedback all the time. Okay. And here you go. Make sure this is all good for you guys.
We're at the RTT Live at Rushton Hall. It's absolutely incredible.
5 days in Rushton Hall. It's just been amazing. Sorry, because it's such a huge amount. It's the only therapy, the only method that delves deep, goes into the root cause, the reason why, and gets rid of it.
Being an RTT therapist is not difficult. I was lucky enough to be hypnotized by Marisa herself as well. And I said to everybody there, the feeling of hypnosis that I had with Marisa is exactly the same as the feeling of hypnosis I had with everybody else, from the very first session to the very last session, every single person. I can do it. Everyone in there can do it. I really believe in it.
I just did an RTT session with a student who just finished a couple of modules, and she already managed to get something out of me that I never thought of before. So I think that this method just works. I'm at the end of the program, but I'm learning so much more by being here in the room, seeing Marisa in person, and just seeing the incredible transformations happen. The fact that Marisa picked me to do a session is just, it's incredible. It's a once in a lifetime, and so much clarity has come out of it. Just today, I had a hypnosis, and my presenting problem was public speaking. It's been an hour and a half, so I wouldn't have done that. I don't know. It's actually pretty magical where we're standing now, and it's definitely an amazing experience. A pretty rapid one. It really just helps to consolidate everything you've learned in the online program and make it all make a lot more sense, but also you get so much more insight from being here live in person and working with the trainers and working with different people. It's incredible.
I'm currently working in a supermarket and I'm a single mom. And then I went through a really tough divorce, so I was feeling quite lost. And I know that through RTT, I'm going to be able to live my purpose.
The whole week here was just all for me about making a change in my life, and I want to realize my dream of helping so many people. I feel like this was the first big step on that journey. I was so well looked after, people were cared for. There's so many loving people here. Everyone wants me to succeed, and I want to succeed, and I want everyone else to succeed. It was an amazing experience. I've made friends for life here, and I have come out transformed. Absolutely.
Marisa Peer has completely changed my life.
She is a goddess in helping people. Boom. It's been awesome.
It's a lifetime opportunity to get to know yourself. You have to do this now. It's life changing, and it is the most incredible course I've ever been on. And I've done a few courses in my time. Everybody should do this work for themselves, but also to be able to pass that on to other people.
I think I actually mentioned it to Marissa. I told her, I said, you know, when I'm on my deathbed, this is one of the memories that's going to come up because it was such a significant part of my life.
Oh, obviously a beautiful video, super well made by the team. And just so you know, the dance parties are completely optional for all of you that were wondering about that one. So, Ariel, you've attended a live in-person RTT training. Can you tell me why you attended it and what were the biggest takeaways for you?
Yes, so I attended pre-pandemic in 2019, and I was really drawn to having that in-person experience in addition to the online training, which I think blends really well. You get so much learning that happens through our online course and our virtual classrooms now. But there is just that intangible quality of being in an active room with everybody who's speaking your same language, who's sharing their experiences, talking amongst each other, that you don't get in webinar settings. Even though I think we're all a lot better, a lot more attuned to that after the pandemic, but there is just that intangible quality and energy from being just surrounded by all of these people who are learning what you're learning, who are having your same interests, who are having similar experiences or learning from their different experiences, hearing how they're interpreting the words, the language, how it's affecting them, and the practice of the skills in real time, in live active conversations is really phenomenal. You watch these videos and you're like, okay, like, yeah, but everybody's like on the Kool-Aid. But it's true. Everybody's on the Kool-Aid, and it really is as great as it seems in the videos. I got married 1 month ago today, and I had two people from my live training in 2019 come to my wedding, seeing them in person for the first time. So the second time ever seeing them in person, flew across the country to come to my wedding because we have stayed in a friendship, a mentorship, a supportive relationship, which is so integral when you're in this field, when you are really a solopreneur, having your RTT practice or being in this mindfulness sphere and being able to connect and have those relationships ongoing now for 4 years was just really phenomenal.
Yeah, and there's so many incredible benefits to going to the live training, and I see a couple questions in here. So Marissa is at the live training events, and what's really epic about it is she does 3 or 4 live sessions for people who are actually at the live event. So about 2 weeks before the event takes place, people start applying to do live in-person sessions, which is great. And the entire room gets to watch the session in its entirety. And Marissa pretty regularly does 2 hours or so for each session. And then right at the end of that, she goes through a Q&A with the entire room. So everyone just gets to ask their very deep questions about how they can take that level of skill, transformation, impact into their own business, into their own sessions. A lot of the people who go to these are actually already graduated. So everyone that goes to the live in-person training does the virtual online classroom for Rapid Transformational Therapy. So they go through the virtual online program where you go to the virtual classrooms, you go through all of that. And then the 5-day is an addition and a deepening of your practice. We could
That's
probably throw
supported
the
that
live
I
event
did it.
page.
in as well. I was almost fully completed with my online learning and classrooms at that time, which is another great experience of being able to practice those skills and things, and then did the live, and it was just so great to have the knowledge and then really be able to workshop it, workshop it, workshop it, workshop it.
Yeah,
I
and
also,
what's
when you're saying about Marisa doing the live sessions in the course, there's a lot of videos of Marisa doing those sessions. So we see that throughout all of our course content, the live therapy sessions recorded with Marisa, but being there in person and feeling the energetic shift while she's doing that is so powerful. But that Q&A afterwards is great. We actually host in the alumni, in our alumni forums, a casework and challenges with Marisa, and it's just workshopping our as a graduate, our case studies with Marisa, and it's just amazing to hear her process, to be able to ask her the questions. Well, why did you ask this? How did you lead to that? Right? What made you ask those questions? And so those Q&As right after those live sessions, in the live training is totally worth the whole experience, because you're really getting to hear how the master unraveled that and ask her those follow-up questions of why this, why didn't you ask this other question, why that, where was your thought process with that, and really being able to break down that session as well.
Yeah. I mean, the Q&As are one of the best parts, and the fact that you might be able to get a live session with Marissa is an additional really incredible experience. Although I would prepare for quite a bit, I've had two sessions with Marissa. It takes 6 months to a year to fully integrate a single session with that woman. It's so powerful and so intense, and she can read you like a book within 10 minutes. And what's incredible about seeing that in person is you start to notice these sort of nonverbal things that you can only really feel in person about what she's exactly doing to get that type of experience out of someone. In addition to meeting so many other people, getting so many sessions yourself throughout that week, and getting so many different perspectives on how you might go about a particular tool or how you might go about a particular process, not just from the people you're training with, but also the trainers that are coming around and consistently helping you and supporting you in delivering these incredible experiences. But what is even more amazing beyond that is the fact that when you go to these live in persons, you have the whole morning to really not just get your mindset ready, your emotions ready, but to hang out, have breakfast with everybody, and get to interact with all these other students. Like Ariel was saying, that's why you actually get so close to these people. Is if you can imagine 5 days of boot camp style RTT training in person, the virtual classroom is amazing. You can't actually schedule a one-on-one with Marissa, by the way, Melanie. I wish that was a possibility, but as there's only one of her and the sessions are pretty intense, what you do is you put in the application to get the one-on-one session with her, and then she chooses people throughout the week, and it's usually 3 or 4 throughout the week, where she kind of chooses what seems most interesting to her in the moment, and also in harmony with what she thinks will be most valuable for the class to see in person. And it's always sort of a case-by-case basis. Marissa really goes intuitively on a lot of it, although the applications are pretty well thought out. So another thing that's really interesting about the live in person is, so you've got people who are maybe just starting the course, you've got people that are midway on the course, and you've got graduates who are already running their business. And you actually split into those groups so that you're paired with people at a similar skill and experience level around you, so that you're not, necessarily put with someone who's been doing RTT for 6 months to a year professionally when you are maybe on module 5 or 6 in the program, and you're maybe a quarter of the way through. So really, really valuable. And then of course you're constantly reflecting on what you've learned throughout the day, what you've learned throughout the multiple days as you get further along in the program. And of course, something like a dance party is great to blow off some steam once you've been doing a lot of sessions. So, Ariel, what would you say tools wise, what was the most valuable for you at your RTT live experience for actually being able to deliver it in person? And then secondarily, what was the most valuable to receive at a Dubai, or not Dubai, although Dubai live is coming, but at an RTT live?
Yes. I can start with that one. I know that one for sure offhand, because I just held a masterclass for the alumni about it. It was the happy scene. The happy scene is used as like a practice when you're learning how to do hypnosis and how to do sessions, as a little introductory exercise. And in my masterclass, I just explained how it can also be utilized as a really efficient tool with clients and supporting them through that as well, not just in our learning phase. But when I was learning the happy scene, which is learning how to regress to a happy memory, whereas in RTT sessions, you're not really typically going to happy scenes, you're going to the root of an issue. So they're usually much more emotionally strained and stressed, right? So the happy scene is supposed to be kind of light in attitude. But of course, I was sobbing through all of mine when I was receiving the happy scene. And in my happy scene memory that we visited, I was playing with my dad as a little girl. And because I was crying so much, everyone thought my dad had died already, which he had not. We just had a very strained relationship at that point of our life, as life happens, right? But this kind of reconnecting emotionally to seeing that and really feeling his love coming through in those scenes and being with me in the scene really had just in that such a transformational experience for me. And after training, I was able to go home and really have a really good talk with my dad and a much better relationship with my dad after that. And until he did transition to non-physical 2 years ago. So I had, it really helped restore a lot of my relationship with him. So the happy scene was an excellent tool for me to receive, for me to heal, having this unintended consequence that came from it that was really beautiful, really brilliant, and now is something I utilize in my practice as well. As far as me practicing during it, I think one of the tools is called role, function, purpose, intention. And it's a tool that has a lot of call and response between you and the therapist and the client. And when you read it in the conscious mind, so when you're learning it and you're learning in the conscious mind, if it's weird. It's a little weird. At least it was for me. And people kind of stumble with it. It's very repetitive. And so when you're doing it just consciously, it can feel awkward, and it can feel awkward explaining it. But when you got to actually practice it and see how someone in hypnosis is having a different response to that, and you can really start to see the thread of why the repetition matters, what we're pulling from it, how we're really utilizing it, was really, really helpful. And then being able to feel that as well. So during the whole time you're at the live therapy, you're practicing everything. So you're going in and out of hypnosis like all the time. It's kind of daunting. And you have to kind of be prepared for that, which you really can't be, but it's all safe, and we're all doing good work and good practice. And that really helps you also gain a lot of those good, safe practice skills. But being able to then receive that tool right after or soon after, having that exchange and feeling it yourself in the hypnotic state and having those ahas of, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how this is coming together, really helps. And I think there's an intangible magic, and I use that word, very loosely here with this, but to say, when we're talking about working in hypnosis, right? When we're working in that subconscious, where just saying it, explaining it to people on that conscious level, you're like, okay, well, the root of your issue in this first scene was you spilled the whole jug of milk when you were 2 years old, and your grandpa, who was watching you, scolded you and said, you can't do anything. And somehow now you've held on to that belief as a 35-year-old person that is trying to get a promotion at your job and won't apply for it, that you can't actually do anything, and you've made this link, and you're like, what? Or like, how could that be affecting you? But when you're working in the subconscious, when you're working in the hypnotic state, that emotional state, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been holding on to this, that because I spilled the milk and my grandpa yelled at me, I believed I couldn't do anything, and I'm not doing it. And there's this, to me, that's the magic. It's this inexplicable to the conscious mind, like link. And when you're in these practices, you're able to, I'm going to say it, feel that magic, right? Really feel that in these exercises. And to me, it gives life. It gives a full life to the session work and all those tools.
I've got a quick exercise, just a chat exercise for everyone to respond to give you an idea of what this RFPI, this role, function, purpose, intention is kind of doing. But Ariel, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Would you be open to doing either a happy memories or an RFPI experience for everybody
Sure.
here in a few minutes? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. In the
Yeah.
chat, real quick, everybody, what would you rather? Would you rather go and experience a happy memory in this like deep mindfulness state that we call hypnosis? Or would you rather look at the RFPI, the role, function, purpose, intention of something that you're experiencing? Go ahead and put in the chat which one you would rather. Ooh, 50-50 already right out of the gate. That's nice. Okay. Okay.
While they're coming in, one of
Ooh.
the questions was, had I done hypnotherapy before starting the RTT course? I'll just answer that while people are voting. I had my own personal RTT session before going to live. So it was actually what really encouraged me to go to RTT training. I had heard about Marisa's work on a podcast, actually, and there was something with it that just resonated, boom, just fully with me. I was kind of in the midst of looking for a career change, but really a soul purpose was what I was really searching for, and doing a lot of personal development work to find that more of myself, right? We're always growing, we're always transforming, and finding what was that right next step for me. My beautiful paper flowers are from my past life as a bridal shop owner. So that was, I had to close my shop due to landlord things, and was like, okay, well, if not that, then what? Because that was a big dream of mine that was accomplished. It was fulfilled. It was cut short in my feelings. But what was I going to do now? And I did have an RTT, a one-on-one RTT session, because I was like, I felt really, really drawn to the work of RTT. But I thought, I should really experience this for myself first and really get some of that healing as well. So I had experienced it in that way, which was phenomenal. Definitely changed my life. I say it brought the standard of my life up, raised the bar on my life in such a helpful way. I've gone on to have many, many more RTT sessions as your life continues to transpire and you continue to grow and you continue to work on things, which is beautiful. But I had that session, and then about maybe 9 months or so later is when I signed up for training, doing the online components, and then it just worked out timing wise that it was close to the end of my online components to attend the live.
So before we get into the RFPI, which was overwhelmingly the answer that people would like to do, let me give you some examples of things that I usually talk about with people around role, function, purpose, intention, because you want to come into it where ordinarily in a session with an RTT therapist like Ariel, you would spend a long time deliberating what you actually wanted to work on, what were the symptoms in your life that you were experiencing, because again, we're dealing with this subconscious mind. A lot of these things you may not be completely aware of. And so bringing awareness to what's actually happening for you and why it's happening is the whole purpose of RTT, so that we can then transform what is happening internally under the surface for you so that you can have a different expression out there. So let me give you some examples. For those of you that are on the Zoom call right now, when you get unexpected money or when someone wants to give something to you, go ahead and type in the chat, just put a number 1. If when something like that happens related to abundance or money, you are excited, but also you feel fear or you get scared that that money is going to go away or that you don't deserve it, or you just feel uncomfortable around sudden abundance. Like if I were to right now just be like, here's $1,000 for no reason, it would make you uncomfortable. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you. Yeah. So that is an example of like there's something going on. There is a feeling that is associated with something that should be amazing and beautiful and encouraging, but it's not. So Camille would be thrilled. That's amazing, right? If you have some fear, if you have some negative emotion associated with something great like that, that might be something you'd like to bring into this exercise that Ariel would do. Let's go for the next one. Let's say you go to your doctor and you get all your blood tests done or your personal trainer and they do your assessments and everything is amazing and you're super healthy and you get the green light across the board, but you feel fear that something's going to go wrong and that that won't last. Put a number 2. If you feel like whenever there's a good health news, but then you get scared, put a number 2 if that's you. If you have a feeling that you should be thrilled, you should be excited, but for some reason there's fear and there's like something wrong about that, that'd be number 2. Yeah, perfect. So that might be something you would bring to this RFPI. Like, of course, you'd want to feel excited, enthusiastic, and amazing. Okay, this next one's going to be juicy. This is going to be number 3, okay? If someone tells you that they love you, do you feel uncomfortable or fearful, or does it make you avoidant? Put a number 3. If someone shows you love, expresses love, someone shows interest in you, someone tells you that they love you, does it make you uncomfortable? Put a number 3. A lot of people with number 3s. So again, the ideal here, oh, Sylvia said 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So 3. Okay, I got one more for you before we get into here. Number 4. If someone praises you and tells you that you're amazing, if I were to say you're incredible, but you get uncomfortable or you have some fear, put a number 4. If when someone says something about you being awesome, it makes you feel less comfortable, put a number 4 in the chat. Okay, a lot of 4s. A lot of 4s here. Oh, Jutta said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now going into this RFPI exercise, I want you to think about the reason why we feel uncomfortable or fearful around these beautiful things in our life is because of some thought, feeling, belief that we formed way earlier on in our life. And that's what Ariel's going to be helping you investigate here and figure out why this negative feeling is actually serving you. So the whole premise here is that these negative feelings are doing something beneficial for you. They're actually not bad to have these negative feelings. This is a good thing for some reason. Now the question becomes, do you want that to change? Do you want to feel excited and thrilled about good things happening for you? If you want to feel good when good things happen, type yes in the chat. If you'd like to feel good when good things happen. Of course. Wonderful. Okay. So that's the preface. If you don't want to feel good, this may not work for you. If you do want to feel good, This is probably going to be really amazing and beneficial. And this little surprise session that we're doing, I'm putting Ariel on the spot for, might change your life forever. And maybe we'll see you at a 5-day live training soon so you can do this for other people. Without any further ado, I'm going to pass it off to the wonderful Ariel and we'll go through a little exercise here. Super excited, everybody. And no pressure here. Everyone has a different level of depth that they're going to go into. You cannot get this wrong. There is no right or wrong here. It's always going to work. It only works every time. So no pressure. Just relax and decide to feel good after this.
Wonderful. So Skip, you did such a beautiful job explaining those kind of 4 different scenarios of feeling. And to me, what I heard the common link is in receiving, receiving good things. Is that what you're hearing the kind of connection is, or how would you like to phrase what feels good to phrase that connection for you as?
Yeah, to feel good when good things happen.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to be responding, or are we going to be having it open to everyone to be working through?
We could be open to everybody.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So here we go. So everyone, let's just start by taking a slow breath. We're going to do this as just a mini exercise. So I'm not going to do the full hypnosis, but one of the easiest way to connect to your subconscious mind, which is a brilliant, easy tip, is that what you're doing is just rolling up your eyes as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. And what this is doing is triggering your REM state, which you access every night, hopefully. It's a natural state that your body enters into. We go in and out of a hypnotic state, which is really a connection to our subconscious all throughout the day. But rolling up your eyes and having that intentional connection to your subconscious, to me, is like calling your best friend on the phone. You're always friends. You always know you're there, but you call them directly. So it's just a little tip, a little trigger, and you can do this on your own outside to help you relax as well. So what we're going to be doing is rolling up your eyes, and we're going to take 3 slow breaths here, and then I'll direct you to close your eyes and we'll go into the exercise. All right, everybody. So now let's just roll up your eyes as high as you possibly can, as if you're looking into your own eyebrows and taking a slow breath in and exhaling out nice and slowly, leaving your eyeballs up. You may feel a little of that fluttering sensation, which is totally natural. And a second slow breath in and out. And one more time. Slow breath in. And this time, as you exhale, you can close your eyelids down, all the way down. And as your eyelids shut down, the muscles and nerves in and around your eyes become heavy, droopy, drowsy. And what you're really feeling is a deeper connection, a more intentional connection to your subconscious mind, that inner state, that inner knowing within yourself. And now you can allow your eyes to just relax and just tune your focus inwards. And you can imagine that your eyes are turning inwards to the place within you that came up with this issue around receiving good things that may be affecting you in your money, in financial abundance, that may be affecting your love life, receiving love, receiving praise, receiving compliments. It may be affecting you in receiving good health news. It may be affecting you in your career. Whatever that is, that block of receiving good things, your inner knowing is now focusing in, tuning in to directing your mind to talk directly with that block, that issue, that issue with receiving good things. It's the easiest thing you can do. You don't have to try or do it. We're just commanding your mind to talk directly to the issue, the part of you that developed this block to receiving good things. And that's who we're talking to today. You're still who you are, but you have found and identified the part of you that came up with this block to receiving good things because it thought it might have some useful role, function, intention, or purpose in your life. So you can do this now. You can do this out loud to yourself because you're all on mute. But what I want you to do, I'm going to say a phrase. And as I end that phrase open, I want you to repeat the phrase and fill in the open words. And it's perfectly okay if this sounds repetitive. It's a little bit of a repetitive exercise, as I mentioned earlier. But just allow those words, those feelings, maybe even those memories to come forward and listen for what comes up. So speaking now to the part of each and every one of you that created this block for receiving good things. I want you to repeat after me. I am the part of your name that came up with this block to receiving good things. And my role in your life is to and I need to do this because I'm the part of your name that came up with this block to receiving good things. And my function in your life is to, and I need to do this because I'm the part of your name that came up with this block to receiving good things. And my purpose in your life is to. And I need to do that because I'm the part of your name that's still holding on to this block to receiving good things. And my only intention in your life now is to. And I need to do this because and last one. I'm the part of your name that came up with this issue when I was how many years old? And what was happening at that time at your age? So maybe you were a child. Maybe this was coming up to protect you from being scolded, trying to make you feel small. Maybe this came up to punish you because it thought that you had done something bad, which often happens as we're learning and growing and trying to figure out this world. Maybe it came up to prioritize you, to help highlight your needs, to help showcase you. But maybe it did it in a way that wasn't very good, right? Feeling bad about receiving good things isn't great, isn't fun, isn't how you want to live now as an adult. So now let's ask that issue, has it served its purpose? Has blocking yourself from receiving good things served its purpose? Has it helped you? And maybe it has. A lot of these issues come up in especially our formative years, to help develop different parts of us, to help learn what good feels like by showing us bad feelings. Maybe it hasn't served its purpose and it was always not helpful, because you always deserve to be receiving good things, because you are worthy, you are deserving, you are enough. So either way, I think we're all ready to get rid of this issue, because I know and I believe that each and every one of us is deserving and worthy of really feeling good about receiving good things. So right now, let's ask that issue to leave and tell it, you can go now. You can leave. I no longer need you. And you can repeat after me. Thank you so much for trying to help me the way you did. That was really powerful. And now I understand why you came up with this block to receiving good things. And your only intention was to, you can fill in with what you've learned today. But I don't need you anymore. I'm no longer, however old you were when the issue came forward, I'm now your age, an adult, a grown adult. And I no longer need to feel bad about receiving good things. So I don't need you anymore. And I am casting you out of my life, out of my body, out of my mind, today and every day moving forward. So that's just that's like the full RFPI like thing. But I would love to see, I'm sure Skip will ask now, but I'd love to see what came forward for people. And you can hear, that repetition in that tool. But that's part of its power. Many people will say almost the exact same words sometimes, every time. Sometimes they'll be different because we're explaining things in those nuanced ways. But sometimes for people, it will be the exact same responses. And it's just kind of doubling down, I think, on your mind, just being like, yeah, this is just to protect you. This is just to protect you. But it's not serving you to not receive good things, right? So we don't have to have it anymore.
Yeah. What came up for everybody? What did you experience there? And you can see, like, if you can imagine a 90-minute session where you're really deep diving into someone's issues that they might be having in life. And for those of you that have good feelings when good things happen, how to have even more good feelings and how to go even deeper into that. And you really get like a beautiful experience. And you can see how just like the breathing and the looking up and how she just really gently brought us into like a more, you can even hear a difference in my voice, like a more mindful state. You just start to think about different things and realize different things quite easily.
Barbara
Uh,
said one of the things she mentioned was to be the good girl, so everyone likes me. This is so common. I think as the good girl, what we're really taught is to be quiet, to be well behaved, right? To not speak up, to put ourselves, make ourselves small, right? To be unnoticed, don't stand out. A good girl is a good helper. A good girl knows her place. A good girl is well behaved. But when you're in a work environment where you're a leader, where you have good things to say, when you have things to share, when you're ready for that promotion, what do you need? A strong voice. You need to share your opinions. You need to be able to show up, stand up, show out. And those don't fall into that small good girl role. And so, although that good girl has such a, arguably good intention, it can also create a lot of those limiting beliefs. And so, this is about upgrading that from that good girl to an empowered woman. And that would be something like Barbara, what we would be working on, and what kind of would come after this, after releasing that issue, which has a little bit more to it when we would be talking directly. Um, we'd be then empowering, putting in more of those, empowering that worthiness, that ability to, that confidence to speak your voice, to share that, to receive those good things, and really allow that into our body, because we're worthy of receiving. We're enough, we're lovable, we can and do deserve to receive them. So that would be kind of what else would transpire in the session as well. Don't shine too
and
bright or be too smart or strong or amazing. Stay small, so everyone will like you. Eve says, yes, it's just that same kind of thing. But instead, we want to say, actually, when you show up as your full self, as your full confident self, you're attracting like-minded people, like we do at RTT live training, where when you're saying, yes, here I am, I'm learning hypnosis, and I'm that person, right? I as an American, I tell my clients, I had the same qualms about hypnosis as everybody else did. The only time I heard about hypnosis was Dracula, and it's nothing like that. As we all just experienced, it's not being out of control like we are in Dracula, but you're actually more in control. You're more connected. You're more in tune. You are more yourself than in anything else. And that's what we want to pull out from you, because we want you to be thriving as your best, authentic, lovable, deserving, worthy, enough self. And that's what we do through this. And you can come to the lives and be with other people who are also doing that and also wanting that for other people, and being in your fullness of yourself, and surrounded by that energy.
yeah, and we've done our absolute best to make the most incredible online program for being able to attend virtual classrooms and to experience so much of this. And like Ariel said, once you're in the alumni, people like her come and teach these wonderful classes to deepen your practice, deepen your knowledge, deepen your experience of being with everyone. But the live we've crafted, because we know with the virtual experience, while it's so good, there's people that want to go even deeper, and there's people that want to experience this in person and get a ton of repetitions of delivering these experiences to other people that understand what we're doing as professionals in RTT. And so I'm going to do a little screen share here with you. These are the upcoming live in-person dates that we have on the calendar right now. So we've got Dubai, the first ever live in-person training, live in Dubai, February 19th to the 23rd. It's Marissa's new home. We've got an incredible amount of fun things planned for it. We're pulling the best trainers from across the globe, flying them in from all over the place to come to Dubai to work with every student who's lucky enough to get a spot at this Live in Dubai event. So this is definitely the soonest one that's upcoming, and it's going to be amazing. If you haven't been to Dubai, go to Kite Beach. It's my favorite spot in all of Dubai. If you're someone that likes the ocean, the water is warm like Hawaii, absolutely incredible. Then we've got Rushton Hall, which is our most frequented place for live in-person training. I got to go there in September. It is stunning. The grounds are beautiful. There's a wonderful little gym and yoga area, the greens. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place with incredible food. And it's, I believe, back from the early 1600s, I want to say, is when Rushton Hall was originally built. And then they've added to it since then. So it's really a lot of history, beautiful, everything you would expect from an old English castle. Then we've got Amsterdam happening. If you've never been to Amsterdam, you got to rent a bike while you're there. Incredible city, kind of like the Venice canals where they've got waterways everywhere. And again, what's beautiful at Amsterdam is you'll get to go and explore a little bit in your off time if you get any. You might just be doing practice until midnight with people, depending on how committed you are to the work itself. And a lot of people do that. And then, of course, we've got Marina Del Rey, Los Angeles in June next year, which used to be Marissa's home. I've lived there for 5 years. I'll see you at all of these different events, and they're all going to be incredible. And of course, if you just want to train online, you can do that. I'll make sure the team is dropping the links to get all of your personal questions answered into the chat right now. You can book a call with someone from our team. They're wonderful people. I know every single one of them that you'd be talking to. They're all amazing. Those are the live in-person events that are coming up in the foreseeable future. I'm going to definitely put one in for September next year and probably November as well. Not sure of the locations quite yet, but I'll be getting that probably by February or March. You can hear more if those dates don't work for you. So make sure to book a call with the team to get your questions answered. And right now, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and Ariel and I can go ahead and answer some questions while we're still here for another 10, 15 minutes. There's so much to know, so much to learn. I know we got through a good experience today and quite a few questions, but there's an infinite amount when it comes to becoming one of these transformational professionals. And, the way that we really see what we're doing in the world is we want about 250,000 rapid transformational therapists out in the world. Right now, we have 8 to 9,000 that are actively practicing. The price for the virtual classroom component is 9,750 US. That's for if you want to do the virtual classroom and if you're going to pay in full, and that's for 6 up to 10 months of support doing that program. And you'll see there are a lot of touch points in that program. From the day that you sign up, you'll go and schedule your welcome call. You'll get all these questions answered by someone from the team to know exactly what all their components are, but know that it's a very robust course. Ariel is going to be a name that you see pretty regularly as you attend the course because she helps manage all of the different communities across everything. So I can let her talk a little bit about that in a minute. And that's for the virtual course. When you go to a live training, it depends on how in advance that you sign up. So for instance, if you were to book a call today, you're going to get the best prices on the upcoming live in-person trainings. So you really want to see which one you're signing up for. The closer into the future it is, usually the more expensive it is. And if you book further out, it's less expensive. The virtual online classroom is $97.50 for rapid transformational therapy training. If you do the certificate in applied hypnotherapy, sort of the junior program, it's $29.50. If you pay up in front, we do our own payment plans. So if you need support in that way, you can talk to someone from our team and explore all the different ways we've made it really affordable and approachable to start the program and start your career as a rapid transformational therapist. What point in the training do you recommend we attend a live? I would say it's really good anywhere. I mean, Ariel, I can let you answer on your perspective. I would say it's really good if you go about 3 months into training because you'll have some experience. It'll give you a little bit of fire under your butt to get through the virtual training and the online modules so that you have a decent amount. You've hopefully been to 1 or 2 virtual classrooms, maybe even 3, and then you can go into that. You do not need a school degree to do this. We've created such a robust training system that you don't need any prior education to do rapid transformational therapy training. It's very comprehensive. Ariel, what would you recommend for people?
I say the same. I think that but once you sign up, so one of the things people are asking too is it separate? If you sign up for the live training, that includes your online components as well. Correct? That's how the sign up is. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. So you can enroll in the course just for the online components and add the live training at any time, so you can have that as an option. So, some people are, when he said, they're graduated already, or maybe you're in the program and a live is going to be coming, added, that is going to work for you to attend. You can then add that on at any time. But when you enroll for the live training, that does include the online and the virtual classroom part of it as well. So you're getting that all together. You can also do it just as an upgrade once you are enrolled as a student or graduate. I think it is best to have some of that knowledge. I think because it will help you be more prepared with the language that the trainers are using, the language Marisa is using, and having a better sense and idea. And even if you're not able to attend some of those virtual classrooms yet, if you're just going through the online modules and getting the content from there, even that's going to be really helpful. And I think will really set you up better for attending the live. But, I've been on a welcome call with someone who, which typically happens 2 days after signups, and she's like, "Well, I've gone through all the modules," and I was like, "Okay, have fun for the next 6 months, like going through them again." But that's actually great. She was so excited. She just busted through it. I'm like, "Did you do anything else?" She's like, "No, I just watched all the modules." I think 2 days I don't think that girl slept. Okay. But you can do that, right? So you can just dump dive all of that information and attend the live, get a lot of that practice done. Or you can take your time. It's a lot to take in. Although you're learning so much, it's still just a lot to process, a lot to take in. And we often see people, going back through their modules, not just once, but twice, and over again. And especially after you're attending, a live or the virtual classrooms, revisiting the explanations further in those tools, right? This is, everyone's moving at their own pace through all of this. But yes, I highly recommend being in the content and then attending the live, but that can be done in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and Jeremiah said that he's signing up for the virtual training on Friday, and then he wants to upgrade to the in-person for coming up in June. So that's absolutely a possibility. So you can upgrade later and add on a live training, just knowing that the earlier that you sign up for the live training, you'll get better pricing for that. You can do the certificate in hypnotherapy and then continue to RTT. What's amazing about doing that is if RTT is the ultimate goal, but the financial obligation is really intense for you, if you start with the certificate in applied hypnotherapy, you actually only pay the difference in cost from the certificate in applied hypnotherapy into RTT. So then you'd be paying something like $67.50 for RTT once you've done the certificate in applied hypnotherapy. The live training price ranges. Again, the earlier you sign up, the better. I think you can get it if you sign up way in advance for $3,500, and then if you sign up last minute, it's $5,000 for the 5-day live in-person training. It can take longer to complete, Jeremiah. So if you want to just go straight, and they're really different too. So the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy is a program where you learn how to do hypnosis and hypnotherapy for more surface level symptomatic things. So as an example of what Ariel did, you don't necessarily go into the deep traumatic experiences or emotional experiences that someone had that eventually created the symptom that they're experiencing. So like I gave the examples of feeling fear when good things happen, you would actually, in an RTT session, go back to 3 or more scenes of exactly where those feelings and those beliefs and those thoughts formed in you, and then use a bunch of transformational processes to create new feelings, thoughts, beliefs, experiences for the future of when you do those things, and to also reframe what happened to you in your past. Whereas in the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy, you allow people to get those new powerful beliefs in a shorter session. So you're not going back and unwinding everything that happened. You're just creating new, more powerful beliefs for the present moment. So it's a little bit faster of an experience. It's a more simplified experience. So that's part of it where it's going to give you a different framework and a structure to deliver hypnotherapy experiences, where RTT is going to give you a whole toolbox of many different things you might do with someone to create a new experience for them. Is there an overlap? Yeah, to some extent. The overlap is you're still learning how to induct people and to do an induction into hypnosis. You're still learning how to guide people through the experience when they're in that deep mindful state, that hypnosis state. Um, but the tools are very different. So there's much simpler tools with the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy. So you're really learning a much broader spectrum of how to respond to someone in different situations and with deeper issues. You want to answer that one, the Maria
Yeah.
question?
Yeah. So someone said, I'm scared of remembering things in hypnosis. Do I need to remember them in order to release them, or can it happen without it? I think this is really common, especially when you know something happened, right? You know dad was abusive. You know you had a sexual trauma happen. I actually work a lot with, and statistically, it's bound to work with a lot, and 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted. But I work a lot specifically with women who are the survivors of sexual assault. And knowing that that is definitely part of their issues. They know their personality changed, or they became more introverted or less confident, less confident in their body. Maybe that's affecting their relationships or their job, but they know. A lot of times when we're working with RTT sessions, people don't know. They're saying, I just don't feel confident. I'm, when someone tells me they love me, I run in the opposite direction. What's going on? But when you have known incidents in your past, that can be daunting. On the other hand, there's plenty of people who say, I don't remember anything that happened before I was 16 years old, 10 years old. In hypnosis, in that connected state to your subconscious that's always listening, always running, always aware and with you, does know, it does remember. When we're going into scenes that are information that we know is going to be traumatic, what we really do is emphasize a safety, that we're not reliving anything, we're reviewing it. And what we're really looking at isn't what happened in the assault, what happened in that incident. What we're really focusing on are what are the beliefs and feelings that were formed. So we're not re-traumatizing anyone. That is absolutely never our goal. Our biggest intention is to create a emotionally safe place, but it does often reveal a reflection of events. But we're doing in a way that allows a safe space for these emotions that are usually blocked. When we're in traumatic events, our body shuts down, right? It locks down. And what it also does is hold on to those feelings. And what we want to do is unblock those feelings so they can become unstuck, so you can move forward. yes, that sounds really daunting. Yes, people cry a lot when we're doing these things. But as Marisa always says, where tears flow, healing follows. And that is our goal. Our goal isn't about the events that happen to you, it's about the beliefs that were formed and transforming them, upgrading them. So, depending on what those incidences were, those known incidences, um, will handle that. The practitioners will be set up to handle that in a supportive, safe space for you. But it is really helpful. Again, not what happened, but what were those beliefs formed? That's what we're really focusing on. And for the people who say, the clients who I've had who said, I don't remember anything before 16, before 10 years old, we easily go back to their early childhood, that because your subconscious does know, your subconscious does remember. It's like the hard drive on your computer. It's always running. You don't, but when you need a intentional file, you can go into it, right? It's not the stuff that's cluttering your desktop, that you're working on every day. You need to go into the hard drive to pull out that old document. And that's what the subconscious is doing. So, we also have people go into womb memories at really early childhood, their birth. I've been to a lot of births, because births are traumatic experiences for infant souls. So it's really amazing. And when I kind of talk about the magic kind of that occurs in that, you're all thinking right now, are you kidding? Going back to my birth? And it's like, yes, it's amazing, because in that time as an infant, you're pure sensory, you're pure feelings and emotions, and that's stored with you. And we can access that in the subconscious state.
Yeah. There's a lot of Jeremiah. Just for Jeremiah, because you've been so awesome in the chat, I would follow up with the enrollment person that you were in communication with on that, and they can support you and help you with all of that and get the questions answered. Because I'm not even sure actually of the technical answer to that one, but they'll have that for you. Elijah asked a great question, which I've talked to so many people about, which is, do I have to fully figure out my own traumas and heal them to provide RTT services? Well, there's a couple ways to answer that question. Number one, Marisa loves to say, you cannot be an AA, an Alcoholics Anonymous counselor, if you've never had an alcohol problem, because you don't understand people that have had an alcohol problem. So RTT therapists, the most successful ones that I know of, have had the most challenging upbringings. They've had the most challenging lives. They've experienced a lot of things. And everyone's had challenges in different areas of life. Some people have had, like, people are listing out different things that have happened to them in their life, which means you can now sit with and understand and empathize with people who have been through something similar in a really authentic way. And you'll see as you go through the training, as you get closer to becoming a therapist, as you start to figure out your niche, you'll figure out who you really feel the most fulfilled in serving. And that's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, and I'll say in that when he's talking about that too, we're not always talking about that big T trauma. And if you're thinking, oh well, I don't have big T trauma like in my life, right? I wasn't sexually abused. I wasn't, abandoned by my family. My parent or sibling did die when I was early on. I am an empath, and so that is kind of falls under your smaller T trauma, but really changed my experience in how I went through life. And RTT for myself, and learning about the subconscious, learning so much more about emotions, and feelings, and the way our mind and body works, has helped me profoundly, in balancing myself, strengthening myself, giving myself better boundaries. So, but what I will say with this is, on a personal note, I highly recommend experiencing an RTT session before training. We have an excellent list at our professional listing, through the website, where you can connect with one of our graduates. But I also think that as people who are interested and vested in personal development. We are always on our personal development journey. And so as you become that person who is helping other people, you are inevitably always going to still be working on yourself, because that's where your growth is going to be coming from. That's where your development is coming from. Even if you only stay with the RTT method as your primary focus, which is so fulfilling. That's mine. There's, when we're talking about those niches, like I said, I work and really support a lot of women who are sexual abuse survivors, and so I've learned more about that, learned more about what their specific needs are, and that. And I, after my father transitioned to spirit, learned a lot about the grief process and how that has affected us, and learn more about that for helping not only myself but now my clients, and seeing things with that too. So you're always working on things, and new things will always be coming up for you as well. So you'll know, and if you're feeling called to this now, that's the right time. I felt such a deep calling to attend, to learn the RTT practice, but it was after my own RTT session, and I just felt like, am I just on this high from this great session? Now I'm going to do this for other people. And I really sat with it, really felt into it. And the more that I workshopped it with myself, the more I kept talking to my friends and my family, I just kept saying, it's what I already do. And now I'm going to learn how to do it at a deeper level with more tools and more structure. And it just felt like this great alignment, for me. And it took me a little bit of time to work up the money for it, but that was also part of my intention setting. I said, okay, if I'm doing this, the money will come to me. And it did. And I was able to sign up. I was able to attend live. I was able to do all these things, and later start my practice, and now work for the company as well, which I'm so happy to be doing. So you'll know when it's the right time, for you. And I really encourage you to really be with yourself about when the right time is. But I think if you're being called, to attend these types of webinars, you're a lot further along in knowing that is for you than before.
Yeah, and something as just a phrase, or, like Marisa says, our words are very powerful. So the exact words we use, something I would suggest that you may or may not take on today, and we can talk about for the rest of our lives, is when you think about clearing or you think about healing as it relates to RTT, really encourage you to think about getting even more of something. So, like in the beginning, when we talked about money, love, enoughness, and praise, and health, and we also talked about health, think about, okay, at every level of the game of life, there's going to be new ceilings, there's going to be new roadblocks that you approach. So, you're always going to be sort of healing things. And when I think about healing, I really visualize a forward momentum. You're always going forward in life. You can't go backwards. You can only ever go forwards. No matter how down or how backwards you feel, you're always moving forwards. The question is, at what pace and how comfortable is that forward momentum for you? And what RTT, RTC, everything that we do as a company is about allowing people to move forward either faster or with more comfort. Sometimes you can't control the pace of it. Sometimes life is just going to throw you a lot of curveballs and things that you need to dodge, but you can move forward with more comfort and with more ease. And so that's really what the goal is. So every time you think about getting a session or going through healing, think about just moving through life with more ease. And that's really what we're here to do, is create an army of people that allow humanity to move through life with more ease. So that's the goal. Anyways, I think Ariel and I need to jump and go to our next things. Jeremiah, I can touch really quickly on the marketing aspect. So we have the Marketing Accelerator Toolkit that is included in the sign up for the RTT program. That unlocks at, I believe, month 4 of your training. And right now, the way that it's formed, and it is changing, and you're going to get access to all the things I'm about to talk about, but it's 3 calls a week, open Q&A. You put your questions in ahead of time, and we have marketing experts that get on there and answer those questions for you. Usually it's a pretty intimate group. You might be there with 10, 15, 20 other people, and you get to hear a lot of incredible answers to everyone's different questions around marketing, creating your business, building a life of freedom, working on your website, how to create content. So, a lot of really helpful things there, in addition to marketing masterclasses that are getting added right now into that program, which if you sign up yesterday, a month ago, tomorrow, you're going to be able to get access to these master classes that are going to be super, super valuable. And if you are a student or if you are a graduate forever, as long as I'm doing it, this Friday is the first of them actually. I do these business freedom and impact workshops where you can come up. I'm going to call someone up one at a time and talk through your business. And for clarity, I'm the CEO of RTT. So I'm going
I'm
to
so
one on
excited
one.
about this, you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to
So, yeah.
one-on-one work through your business with you, talk about your kind of your goals, your North Star, and help you with something. So 15 minutes per person, one at a time, every other week for an hour. So until the end of time, as long as I'm willing to do it. And I love doing this stuff. So I'm really excited to give back in that way as well. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming right now. Like Ariel said, if you're here, it's a good opportunity to book a call and at least get some of your questions answered and start getting on the track, get on the path, and hopefully contribute to a lot of people living a life with more ease as well as yourself. So thank you everybody for attending. So much love to everybody. Thank you, Ariel, for giving us that wonderful RFPI experience and for helping everybody today. That was really beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Skip. And if you have any further questions, it's great to book the call with the enrollment specialist. They can ask you a lot of things. And if you have other kind of therapy-based questions, you can email support@marisapure.com as well. So from what
Awesome.
went on today. So thank you, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you around.
Yep. See you at a live soon.